This fight is so important. Definitely one of...
No, come on, dude. Come on, man. I don't even think of this fight when I think of Naruto.
the most consequential, at least of part 1, if not all of Naruto.
Like, I know there's a lot of stuff that happens with the ritual and the summonings.
Hiruzen dying and Orochimaru losing his arms are pivotal plot points.
Like, it's pretty cool seeing first 2 Hokage, and seeing the 4th one being so, oh, he's strong, can't let him get that one out. You know,
presented through a fight that was, at the time it happened, on a scale totally unlike anything that had come before it. Because of,
like, that's true. That's true.
of the power level of both fighters in this specific situation, what's at stake here is magnified. As you watch this, it feels like if Hiruzen dies, no one's going to be able to stop Orochimaru from wreaking havoc and doing whatever else he wants. He's got the first 2 Hokage at his disposal and will probably be able to revive the 3rd after he kills him. Speaking of that, Orochimaru is just plain scary here. The shot of the first 2 Hokage stepping out of their coffins is chilling, and Orochimaru himself continues to be creepy and weird. This fight also
Orochimaru is weird in this one.
Accomplishes an impressive amount of world building. First of all, you may have missed this, but we're introduced to the Sound 4 here. They're the ones who create the barrier. We're also introduced to the reanimation jutsu here, and to the first 2 Hokage. And we learn more about the abilities of all 3 present Hokage. And we also learn more about Hiruzen's relationship with Orochimaru. It's difficult for me to concisely articulate how much worse the series would be without this fight. While we're on the subject of important fights, here's where we meet Pain and get introduced to mainstay concepts like Sage Mode and the Rinnegan. Obviously, this is also the fight where Jiraiya dies, which, you know, kind of a big deal. One thing I really like about it is something it has in common with the first Hidan encounter, which is that it forces the viewer to figure out the antagonist's abilities in real time. I also think that the Rinnegan feels just as scary and otherworldly as all the Jashin shit did. Even beyond that, the fight's just unsettling. Pain himself feels inhuman, and the visual design of the Rain Village makes the environment seem hostile.
Yeah, and like he kept calling himself a god, and that kind of, you know, like, this guy's crazy.
Too. It's also hard to deny how many memorable moments are present here. The massive Rasengan, the frog song, the gathering of the 6 paths of pain, and Jiraiya's death. Like all the other fights I've praised that introduced important villains, this one succeeds at its job, but does so with flying colors. I think this is the second most effective example of that in the series. The sheer power and versatility of the 6 paths of pain are conveyed flawlessly here. That's also not all the fight accomplishes either. Like the last one, the world building we get here is excellent, and Jiraiya's death is brutal and extremely effective. I know it didn't make everyone sad, but most people will tell you it was an emotional gut punch. Hey, what's good? It's number 8, and just don't worry, I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, the reason this fight is all the way up here is 99% because of the action. There is some neat stuff going on narratively here. This is Sasuke's first mission as a member of the Akatsuki, and this is also where we get introduced to Killer Bee. But I'm just gonna be honest and say that here we have a case of the cool shit happening on screen or on the page being more important than the storytelling. It's just so much fun to watch. There are no sections here that I would describe as anything less than some of the coolest shit I've seen in my entire life. Also, Sasuke finally getting and using his Mangekyo Sharingan is just hype. I guess I can throw in some narrative points for the way that this enhances the 5 Kage Summit as well.
Yeah. Oh, really? Wow. I kind of like the Datara fight a little bit more.
Everything about this fight is top-notch. The dynamics present between Sasuke and Danzo, both on a character level and in terms of their abilities.
You do get to see that Mangekyo go to work again. And more, yeah, you get a lot of background about the, you know, Uchiha and all that, and Danzo.
leave nothing to be desired. Even though Sasuke is divisive, to say the very least at this point, Danzo is so hateable that it's impossible not to side with Sasuke. I remember watching this fight as it was airing on Crunchyroll, back when you would find the app by looking up, like, Watch Naruto Free Online in the App Store, and just being so invested. I wanted Danzo to die so bad. Sasuke's stronger here than he's ever been. The guy hits like a truck carrying nuclear artillery, but Danzo is immortal, at least for like 10 minutes. Izanagi's so cool, especially when Danzo's abusing it with his creepy, weird Sharingan arm. And the way that Sasuke manages to kill him by tricking him into thinking that one of his eyes is actually still open is one of my favorite little bits of tactical combat in the whole series.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. This fight is by a landslide the best fight from the Chunin exam preliminaries and one of the best fights in all of Naruto.
Shoot, he didn't do Naruto versus Sasuke 1 or 2. So is the next one Naruto versus Sasuke, and then is he gonna do Itachi versus Sasuke, and then is he gonna do Pain versus Naruto, and then I don't know.
Isolate it and strip the rest of the series context away from it, it's a compelling underdog story with incredible action and animation. I know there are plenty of people out there who have watched this fight multiple times, but not a single second of any other Naruto material. That's a testament to how well it's paced and how well all of the exposition is handled. Even if you don't know anything else about Naruto, in this fight you're taught everything you need to know about these two characters. I don't think this negatively affects the pacing either, because every time the fight stops so something can be explained, it's immediately demonstrated and paid off through a nice visual reward. It's a genius-level masterclass of action and storytelling that excels at everything it attempts to do, and having said that, yes, I only think it's the 6th best fight in Naruto.
It's up there. He didn't do Inidra versus his brother yet. That was lit. Is that his number 4? So is it going to be this?
This is easily the best villain introduction in Naruto. Now, narratively, and I want to stress I only mean narratively, it's not particularly ambitious. Its only goal is to establish how strong Madara is.
This is cool.
But if we grade it based on how well it achieved that goal, it's an A+, perfect score.
It is really cool. Look at that shuriken coming at us. There's only this one and then 3 more. Does he not have Inidra in this?
I don't know if any of you ever had a teacher that would give you like 110 on a test if you did a really good job, but that's
is he gonna have a 0, like a number 0? Because there's like 4 or 5
which again it excels at better than maybe every other Naruto fight. This fight is extremely ambitious. It's choreographed, directed, and animated brilliantly. It's got some extremely unique action set pieces that are brought to life and made to look gorgeous, both in the manga and in the anime. It's also littered with iconic or at least memorable shots and moments. Like, seriously, they're everywhere. On a meta level, one of the reasons this fight...
Also, none of the young Itachi made it... Is that not manga? Is that not in the manga? Itachi... Well, there's one with him and Obito. But then there's... You know, everything that happens in the Black Ops. Is that not cool?
Fight is so satisfying to watch is because it acts as a payoff.
I'm a little mad about it.
That Madara received throughout the series. As I've said in previous videos, there was a lot of that, by the way. The build-up period lasted for a very, very long time. Now, this could have been a double-edged sword because of how impossibly high it set the bar for Madara, but I think we can all agree that he cleared it and then some with his first appearance.
Oh, no way, dude. You're doing Pain in Naruto?
Naruto
That's like my
Pain
1 or
is
2.
the climax of the second act of the story, and so obviously, like the last one, there's a lot of build-up here. Now, while this particular fight was foreshadowed, and the entire arc was clearly leading up to it, I'm talking about the way that Naruto's big, heroic, save-the-day moment was built up to. Something like this eventually happening was kind of a foregone conclusion, given how the series started with Naruto making it as clear as he did that he wanted to be a distinguished ninja
freaking
with
awesome, dude.
respect. This is where Kishimoto keeps his promise that he's going to take this loser kid and turn him into a total badass. Pain's a perfect perfect enemy for something like this. His abilities are extremely unique, and he's strong enough to push Naruto to his absolute limit. I don't just mean Naruto gets pushed physically here, either. Pain's strength is so great and so varied that Naruto's forced to use everything in his arsenal here. Everything that we've seen him train to develop and use over the course of the series makes an appearance in this fight. What makes this fight even more satisfying is that it retroactively adds meaning and purpose to many of the fights that Pain took part in before this. The intel that people like Kakashi and Jiraiya were able to gather by fighting Pain is crucial to Naruto's survival and eventual victory.
True.
This fight also includes tons of extremely important character moments. This is basically where Pain's entire ideology gets laid out, mostly through his famous cycle of hatred speech to Naruto. Hinata finally confesses her love to Naruto here and even fights Pain to try and keep him safe, which is by far the most important thing she does in Shippuden. It's also revealed here that Naruto's dad was the 4th Hokage, and admittedly this may have been like a Jon Snow situation where everybody kind of already knew without being told, but still, setting aside how obvious it may have been, it's cathartic to see Naruto interact with his dad for the first time. Now, while the last two fights, maybe even the last 3 or 4, have more consistently good action and visuals than this one does, I think that the scene where Naruto and his Six-Tail Cloak fights the Tendo Pain is on par with, if not better than, anything present in all 4 of those fights. And in terms of narrative context, the only one that even belongs in the same conversation as this fight is Sasuke versus Danzo. I'll admit that of the fights in double S tier, this one's placement is probably the most adjustable. I could totally see why someone might move it up or down a few spots, but all things considered, I think I've made a good case for it being the 4th best fight in Naruto.
Number 2 or 1, I don't know. Oof. This and
YouTube Premium gives you ad-free videos, mobile downloads, and background.
I'm not exactly sure how I want to phrase this next point, but we've been talking about build-up for a while, and I think the placement of the last 2 fights...
That's the craziest thing about this fight. So much build-up. I mean, you talking years that we waited for this.
Should convey how important...
Why I like Pain so much, I saw, like, manga in Japanese. Thought it was Naruto's brother because I saw Uzumaki, Nagato Uzumaki, and Pain's face. So... you know.
I think it is. Having said that, the Sasuke Itachi subplot was the one that I thought was by far the most interesting in the series, and it had existed since all the way back when Sasuke first introduced himself to Kakashi and the other members of Team 7. So the idea that this fight was going to happen was one that had, give or take, existed for around as long as the nebulous idea that Naruto was going to fight somebody like Pain. The difference between these 2 fights in that respect is that we knew Sasuke was going to be fighting Itachi specifically from the very beginning. So I think I can safely say, without making anybody mad, that this fight was probably the event that received the most intricate and lengthy build-up in the series. The first time I watched it, it was excruciatingly intense because, like everybody else, I thought Itachi was a psychopath who had killed his entire clan for no reason. Sasuke was playing with his life by trying to kill somebody who had the mindset that we all thought Itachi did, and every time we saw Itachi fight before this, he was on a completely different level than the person he was up against. The audience is given every reason to believe that Itachi is the most dangerous type of person, both because of his mentality and because of how powerful he is. And even though Sasuke was a core protagonist, you can call me naive for this, but I thought it was seriously possible that he was going to die here. In terms of the combat and visuals, I enjoy how back and forth the action is and think there are plenty of unique and exciting exchanges that Itachi and Sasuke have with one another over the course of the fight. I think it peaks twice, first when Sasuke uses Kirin, and immediately after that when Itachi uses the Susanoo for the first time. The aftermath of the fight includes what's probably my favorite exposition dump in the series. This is an insane plot twist that recontextualizes not only this fight, but a good chunk of the first half of Naruto. I know that this scene isn't actually a part of Sasuke versus Itachi, but I have a hard time separating the two, and I don't think that this scene can exist without the fight. Like Naruto versus Pain, this is another example of a fight that doesn't necessarily have better action than many of the other fights in Double S tier, but has so much more narrative weight to it that I think I can overlook that.
Whoa. He put Naruto versus Sasuke, the regular one, at number 1?
Yeah, this is probably a little cliche, but honestly, who cares? I'm already a huge fan of this fight in the manga, but the anime version is definitely the definitive way to consume it. This is arguably where the series peaked in terms of animation, and all of the other important aspects like the directing and choreography are flawless. It's set up about as well as you could ask for, with the series-long rivalry between Naruto and Sasuke, and the sudden revelation at the end of the Kaguya fight that Sasuke is not actually on the same side as all of the other protagonists. Sasuke is the perfect final enemy for Naruto, both ideologically and in physical combat. combat. They know each other better than practically anyone else, and that's one thing that makes it so satisfying both to watch them fight and to watch them talk things out after the fight. Naruto finally getting through to Sasuke resonated with me in a way that I'm not even sure I can properly describe, and that was just the cherry on top of one of the most gorgeous and exciting fights I've ever seen. When I started making this list, I knew this fight was going to be at the top. Literally everything that I look for in a Naruto fight is present here and is executed perfectly. No matter which metric we use to judge it, I think it's better than every other fight on this list. It's the best fight in the manga and the best fight in the anime. It's got my favorite character dynamic, character moments, character dialogue is built up to over the course of part 1 and over the course of the arc that it's the finale of, has the best animation in all of part 1 and arguably the entire series, has the best combat and choreography, has the best pacing, has the best back and forth shift between who's winning and who's losing, has some of my favorite uses of each character's respective abilities in the series, progresses the plot arguably more than any other Naruto fight. Like I said, anything that you want to look for in this fight is there and done brilliantly. This is the best one, and nope, I won't be taking any questions or discussing this further. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching this titanic behemoth of a video. It's almost killed me to put it all together. If you've stuck around this long, consider subscribing. If you don't want to, don't worry about it, but I'd really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching the video, and as always, take care of yourself and have a fantastic day. Swaikage out. Bye.
Well, you heard the man. Give him a subscription. And while you're at it, subscribe to me. Bye.